Tuesday, everyone. This is Amanda Venencia, and we are live from my desk. It is a very exciting episode. It's going to get a little nutty. We're going to crack a tough nut. There are just so many peanut puns out there. It is just so incredibly amazing. But, I love a good food pun. It's just my absolute favorite. But we're going to be talking about peanuts in schools. And we're going to be looking at recipes, talking about allergy management, and what better partner could I have to talk about this complex topic there's so much information out there and some actually brilliant new recipes through one of our friends. But I'm not going to give it all to you right now, folks. You're going to have to stay tuned. And a little later in the episode when we talk about some brand new recipes. All right, I'll give you a sneak peek, okay? Healthyschoolrecipes.com. Folks, if you're not using this website, you absolutely need to be here. They have some incredible recipes for K-12, and what better way to stay on top of trends than to see what are bringing to the table. But here we are, Sherry Coleman Collins.
Hello.
How are you today?
How are you, Amanda?
I am doing so well, and I'm so excited to get a little nutty with you today talking about peanut trends in K-12. I will keep the food puns to a minimum, though.
We don't mind at all. We're all nuts over here, so you can do all the puns that you want to. We're huge peanut fans, and yeah, we are the kings and queens of peanut puns over here. So we like them, no offense at all.
Excellent. And I was very excited when I was posting for this because I did find a peanut emoji. So,
yes.
My day was fulfilled with that.
Now we just need a peanut butter emoji and the world will be all right.
I think that we need to put out that positive energy into the world. But Sherry, tell everyone who you are and what we're going to be talking about today.
Sure. So I'm Sherry Coleman Collins. I'm a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and a food allergy expert. I work with the National Peanut Board, and I am the Peanut RD. So if you look for me on social media, you'll find Peanut RD on Instagram and Twitter. And today we hope that people will join us over on Instagram to get a little bit more inspiration for K-12. We've got lots of great recipes. And so I work with them to do recipe development and education and information, both around serving peanuts and peanut butter in innovative and exciting ways, which we hope these recipes will be for schools, as well as addressing some questions people have about safe serving and food allergens.
That is fantastic. And as one of the children who ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 3 years in elementary schools, I would like to say thank you for your contributions to the world.
Well, it's our farmers who do amazing things, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's nutritious. I love adding it. As a mom, I add it because my little 6-year-old, she's awful. She doesn't like to eat protein, and it is so great to sneak in some nutrition through peanut butter. We do sliced apples with peanut butter. We actually do sliced apples with peanut butter with cinnamon sugar on top. Delicious as a homemade snack for my little one. But tell us more about kids love peanuts. Kids love peanut butter. Isn't it such an amazing condiment? But also, we can use it in so many different ways and recipes.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think that the great thing about peanuts, and I heard someone say this very early in my career in peanuts, was that peanuts make the exotic familiar and the familiar exotic. Peanuts and peanut butter are a food that's familiar, that people love, and kids love it. And it's so versatile, and you can use peanuts in both sweet ways. Everyone loves a peanut butter cookie and a peanut butter brownie, but you can also use peanuts in such delicious savory applications, like in peanut sauce, and also in like an African peanut stew. And mentioning both of those makes me think of the recipes that we have developed. So we worked with healthyschoolrecipes.com to develop some great K-12 recipes, including those last two that I mentioned.
That stew recipe looks incredible. I think I might make that at home. I mean, what an incredible way to bring some of the diversity into school meals, which I think people are really looking for and asking
Yeah.
for. And we're educating our kids. We are teaching them about culinary choices that they're going to make as adults. So I was so excited to see that recipe. But personally, I'm all about the chocolate peanut butter smoothie. That's definitely on my list of to-dos. I mean, what a great combination. And what is better than chocolate and peanut butter? You're talking about familiarity. And hey, let's just talk about it. It's the Reese's combination of the world, right? Chocolate and peanut butter. And what a great way for us to stay on trend with peanuts in schools, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that recipe in particular, I think is really fantastic for breakfast. As people are thinking about grab and go, things they can take with them. And kids love smoothies, and you talked about sneaking in protein with yours. I do the same thing. I have a 6-year-old too, a little boy, and he also doesn't eat meat, but he loves peanuts and peanut butter. And that's one great way that we really work hard to get really nutrient rich foods into his diet. So one thing we know about peanuts and peanut butter is they're a great vector food. It's a food as a dip. We have a great dip recipe that's a yogurt and peanut butter dip recipe. Perfect for getting kids to eat more produce. We're all in K-12 and at home. We're all trying to get our kids to eat more vegetables and more fruits. And that kind of dip using peanut butter works really well to get kids to eat more of those kinds of foods. So by the way, I just want to mention all these recipes are available at the nationalpeanutboard.org website. And you can also, I mentioned Instagram earlier, so if people go to Instagram and they follow the Peanut RD Instagram handle, there's a link in my bio that has all of the resources that we're going to mention today, including the recipes. And I forgot to mention, and we forgot to mention that we're going to be doing a giveaway.
We love free things.
So we love free things too. We love to give away free things. We love to give away swag, and everybody loves, we have so much fun with our K-12 friends giving away fun swag. And so this time around, we're going to give away 5 aprons. So for our K-12 kitchen friends, we'll give you 5 custom aprons, as well as a whole bunch of delicious peanut goodies. So peanut butter and all kinds of assorted tasty things, as well as some fun, silly things like little peanut squeezies and things like that.
That's so exciting, because what better way to get kids involved than to make it fun? I mean, these kids are marketed to in so many different ways, and we need to get in on the fun. And I love embracing that concept, because that's what we're here in K-12. We're bringing the fun into the lunchroom and to breakfast and the such. So that's just fantastic. I mean, I think schools kind of fall into 3 kind of different categories when we're talking about peanuts. And especially at the beginning of the year, I'm sitting here, I've got a special dietary restriction form sitting on my desk that need to be processed. I think schools fall into kind of 3 categories, Sherry, and correct me if I'm wrong. Either they have a pretty much no peanut ban, or they use peanuts in some of their products that are like packaged and such. And then there are some schools where they have appropriate allergen management, and they have the ability to utilize these peanuts in the schools. And I've seen a lot of shifting going to kind of that 3rd model. My school in particular is in that 2nd kind of phase. We use a lot of peanut butter. We sell more Uncrustables than you could possibly imagine. So thank you to all of our peanut farmers out there. This is in my desk. The Justin's we were also, I was talking to Sherry offline, and I was telling her about my favorite peanut butter, which is Hell's Kitchen peanut butter, if anyone's watching in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But talk to us about allergen management. Talk to us about how do we shift, and how do we still address the sensitivity of allergens in our schools and with our students and our staff even, but still integrate such a great versatile ingredient?
Well, that's a great question. And we do have really fantastic resources available for schools. And I mentioned the Instagram page and a link tree there. And certainly you can get to all of those from that link. But I would say, we've got a website called peanutallergyfacts.org. And that website really has great information for schools on safe management and best practices. And we've got some videos that make it really simple, sort of spell out exactly how to do it. one thing I would say is that a lot of times decisions are made based on misinformation. So schools are afraid to serve peanuts because they think maybe they can't safely do that in a school where there are children with food allergies. But what we know is that it's absolutely possible. Schools are doing it every day. They're serving other allergens, right? So they're serving milk and eggs, which are actually the most common allergens for young children, and they're doing it safely. So I think that we can learn a lot from managing other allergens, and peanuts aren't unique. They're not different in some way that make them impossible to manage with children who have food allergies. But you do have to pay attention. You have to have a plan. And so we recommend what the other experts recommend, and that is a comprehensive approach to managing allergens in schools. So the CDC has voluntary guidelines that are a fantastic resource for schools to use to create comprehensive plans for managing allergies. And we've also worked with the School Nutrition Association on a number of occasions to develop webinars and other resources. And in the link tree that I mentioned from the Instagram handle, PeanutRD, there's a link to the SNA food allergy resource page that I think is also a really good resource for schools to use.
That's all fantastic information. And folks, her Instagram, PeanutRD, definitely check it out. Go into the bio, click on that link. You get a whole list of great information about peanuts, about what to do to stay on trend, because I'm seeing a lot of peanuts. I'm a big fan of the peanut pasta, the Thai peanut pasta.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's so on trend, and it's so interesting to see our kids at a younger age being exposed to peanuts in so many different ways. So Sherry, like, what's the coolest peanut recipe that you've ever seen? Like, maybe not K-12, but let's just inspire people with peanuts. Like, tell me what's like the best that you've ever found?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, that's impossible to say. I can't pick one. It's like picking your favorite child. I mean, I think there are so many great ways. We work a lot with the Culinary Institute of America, and they do incredible things. And when I was recently there in the spring, there was a chef who created a flatbread using peanut flour that was ridiculous. It was so good. And then they filled it with roasted vegetables and peanuts and a peanut sauce. It was like, you would think maybe like peanut overload, but it was perfectly balanced and so delicious, and it was vegan. And I think that's the other thing is, as we think about trends and what kids are looking for, we know that more and more kids are interested in vegetarian and vegan eating. Not just our 6-year-olds, but our 16-year-olds are really interested in that kind of food. And peanuts and peanut butter lend themselves beautifully to creating those kinds of delicious, nutrient-rich vegetarian and vegan options for those kids who choose not to eat meat, or maybe who don't want to eat meat because of religious choices or even health choices.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Do you remember so was that was at CIA?
That was at CIA. And I think you mentioned the peanut Thai, like noodle bowls. That's something I have seen at K-12. So I mean, I think that when you think about, so many schools have gone to food court style, especially in their secondary, and these kids have so many fantastic options, and they can make their own sandwiches, and they can make their own grain bowls, and they can make their own pasta bowls. And peanut sauce is perfect in any of those applications. And we have a great recipe for K-12 that's already been scaled for you, that's available on our website.
That's incredible.
We make it easy.
Can we talk about probably one of my favorite form of peanuts? Because I went to Johnson & Wales, so I won't hold it against you. But let's talk about peanuts as a garnish. I mean, just so great, that crunch that we can add to that dish. Tell me, how do you see peanuts being used in garnishes?
Oh, well, I think absolutely they can be. For instance, with the African peanut stew, it's perfect to put chopped peanuts on the top with a little bit of cilantro. It's beautiful to the eye, but it also adds some crunch to a soup that's mostly soft, very savory, but mostly soft. I think that chopped peanuts are fantastic in salad. Many people are familiar with using walnuts or almonds in salads, but salted peanuts are perfect. And the great thing about peanuts is that they add that crunch that you're looking for and that savory element, but they're also a whole lot less expensive. When we think about nuts, all those other nuts are great, but peanuts not only are delicious, they're also really affordable. And I think when you're thinking about the K-12 environment, I worked in K-12, I know what it's like to try to manage both creating delicious and nutritious food, but also meeting a very slim budget.
Absolutely. And just having this conversation with you. You know what? I'm even thinking about peanuts as a kind of within those like bento boxes because that's like
Oh
such a huge
yeah.
piece. So as the protein, as that crunch, as that kind of savory piece to a bento box with like some cheese and some grapes, like I would be all over that for an
Oh yeah.
afternoon snack, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think one of the recipes that we developed was for overnight oats. And
Mm.
definitely, overnight oats are like a very creamy kind of consistency, of course, but put some chopped peanuts on top of that and it's perfect. And the other thing is that peanuts go great in a granola. And you could do a
Mm.
parfait, of course, a layered dish with yogurt and fruit, and then like a peanut granola that would be so, so good.
That would be delicious. I'm a big fan of peanuts. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's something that's so familiar. I think everyone can connect with them in some way. You know, for me it was because I ate it for 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I was that kid. My mom would have to just say, all right, well, how about something different than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And I was like, no, mom, this is what we're doing. It's gonna be fine.
Yes.
So what would you say some of your like best practices would be for K-12 peanuts? I gotta tell everyone, I don't give you these questions ahead of time, and you're doing such a great
No.
job. So
Oh,
continue with all your peanut
thanks.
knowledge. We want all the knowledge. Give it to us.
Uh, So, I mean, I think that, best practices definitely, when it comes to, I think, any allergen, like serving any allergen, including peanuts, I think the first thing is to make sure that you're telling your customer what they're eating. I mean, that just makes sense, right? We're doing that with everything that we're serving. So make sure that
Mhm.
the customer knows, especially if you want to incorporate some of these really innovative uses for peanuts and peanut butter, which we hope you will. When you're doing that, of course, you want to make sure your customer knows exactly what to expect. This is a peanut dish. It has peanuts in it. Use peanuts in the title. And I think using innovative and fun titles is great, but they also need to be they need to be descriptive, especially when it comes to allergens. So that's the first thing is let people know, hey, this got peanut in it. So don't eat this if you can't. And then the second thing is let your community know. Obviously you want to let the teachers know if there are allergens being served. I think that's true for any allergen though, right? I mean, we want to make sure that our teachers know what's coming up. And then, of course, you want to use safe practices in the kitchen. And one thing I know and is that K-12 staff are amazing at food safety. There is nobody better. I've worked in lots of different environments, and nobody is better at food safety than K-12. So, I mean, I think it's the same kinds of practices, right? The way you prevent cross contact is the same way you prevent cross contamination, right? So proper labeling, cleaning, using separate instruments, that kind of thing. One thing that I've heard over and over that I think is a great practice is if you're going to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches from scratch, and I love the Uncrustable products, but man, I love a really good homemade peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And if you're going to do that, then make them last thing. Make that the last thing that you make in the kitchen. Then you can clean up beforehand, and you don't have to worry about that cross contact. And I mentioned already the peanutallergyfacts.org. And again, we have some great videos on that. That we worked with Garrett. He's in Spokane. He is an amazing chef and a registered dietitian, and we worked with him to develop these videos. The video that goes through all of the allergen management and best practices. So that's a great resource as well. That's available at peanutallergyfacts.org.
That's incredible. Tell everyone about the giveaway.
Oh, yeah. So we have this fantastic giveaway. I already mentioned the aprons, and I mentioned some of the goodies that you're going to get. I will say the way that I have to read so I make sure that I don't get any of the terms and conditions wrong. I want to make sure that nobody's excluded and everybody's included. Okay, so the way to be eligible for the giveaway is to comment or like on this live event on your Facebook page right now or when you're watching this later, or go to PeanutRD on Instagram. And so that's going to be Instagram.com/PeanutRD. Very easy to find. And you can make a comment on any of the posts. I think I've done like 4 posts now about this event with you guys that include pictures from the recipes and also the great graphic that you guys did. So if people make a comment there, or if they make a comment here, they're entered for the giveaway. And so the time is from today, right now, all the way to tomorrow at 3:30. So they've got like 24 hours to participate in the giveaway, and then we'll choose a winner. What's today? Tuesday. So like Thursday, we'll make an announcement.
That is incredible. So we've been posting some really great content. Stephanie Dove, our other host, is on the other side. She's behind the curtain posting all this awesome information. But Sherry, this has been such a great time, and you have so much knowledge. That is why you're the Peanut RD. So definitely follow
Amanda.
Sherry on Instagram and really kind of interact with her. She's really nice. Like, chat with her and take a look at all the excellent content that they have there. So definitely visit peanutsinschools.org. That's another website that they can join. And what will they find there again, Sherry?
So at peanutsinschools.org, people can find great recipes and information on how other schools are handling allergens, as well as the resources that I've mentioned. And I would say, if people have specific questions about their own schools, or if they're doing really fantastic things and they want to show us, please reach out to me. You can do that through the Instagram handle. I'm easy to find online, and I'd love to hear from people what they're doing, what questions they have, and how we can be of service.
Excellent. And we're going to go one step further, folks. If you've got a fun peanut pun, I want to hear them, because this is now my favorite emoji. So go ahead, and if you're commenting on the bottom, maybe just a peanut pun, or just find that peanut emoji and use that in your marketing for schools. But I just want to say thank you to you so much, Sherry, for joining us today. And thank you to for everything you guys do for our peanut farmers in America, and for sharing all of your incredible information with us today.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Stephanie, behind the scenes. Have a great day, you guys.
Wonderful, folks. This is Live from My Desk with Stephanie and Amanda. We're here on Tuesdays at 3:30, and take a look in the comments for all links to all of the information that was referenced in the recipe here today. Be sure to follow Sherry on Instagram for more peanut-worthy information. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.